Thank you. Mr. Chairman, before I start, earlier, I believe I heard Mr. Gosar say something about President Biden's immigration policies being more big brother, more control, and more changing our culture. I just want a clarification. Is that what Mr. Gosar said? In the committee room? Okay. Changing our culture. I understand what he's trying to say. But I believe that immigrants are American and thus a part of American culture. You know, it's unfortunate that this hearing started off with a ton of hyperbole and posturing, saying that President Biden and his administration have created the worst border crisis in American history. That isn't about oversight. It's about stoking the fears of immigrants and those seeking asylum. And it's something I take personally as a son of a Cuban refugee. Look, for many folks around the country who might only watch far-right media or just listen to even some of the folks on this committee, I'm curious, Chief Chavez, when President Biden took office, did your agents stop enforcing the border and just allow everybody to come in, thus creating what we hear here is an open border? Did that happen when the president took office?
Sir, thank you for your question. The answer is no, sir.
Okay,
We
thank you.
continue to enforce policy and laws.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Chief Modlin, when President Biden took office, did the border just open and did y'all stop enforcing your policies?
Also, thank you for your question, sir. I can tell you this is the 5th administration I've worked for, starting with the Clinton administration, and Border Patrol agents do their job every day.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Look, as y'all probably realize by now, a lot of these hearings are not really about solutions, they're about politics. And for me, I believe solutions must be rooted in facts. I know y'all probably watch the news and are aware of what's going on politically. Would you agree that the narrative being peddled right now that says that an insane amount of fentanyl is being brought into this country by illegal immigrants specifically, would you say that is true?
Sir, again, we're here to report on the facts on border security. I probably defer from giving an opinion on anything in the news right
With the data, right?
because that's probably doubtful. I can't
Yeah.
provide
all
a
good. Thank
factual
you, Chief.
statement.
No, I appreciate it. I agree, right? It has to be rooted in the data. You know, a Cato Institute report and CBP data shows that more than 85% of the illicit fentanyl entering the United States is brought in by citizens of the United States of America. So, Mr. Chairman, I request unanimous consent to enter into the record the 2022 Cato Institute report demonstrating that illicit fentanyl is primarily trafficked by U.S. citizens at lawful ports of entry.
Without objection.
Thank you. Look, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle would have us believe that the solution to the fentanyl problem in this country is to discourage both illegal and legal immigration. In comes the wall, which we've heard a lot about. You know, we know that crossings haven't decreased since we spent $15 billion, once again, $15 billion with a B, of taxpayer money on that monument of fear. The wall kind of reminds me of a sad, decaying Soviet statue. Is the bigger failure that migrants are able to breach the wall or find their way around it? Chief Modlin.
Thank you for the question, sir. One thing I would say, I think it's worth pointing out, especially Mr. Garcia just came back in the room. I'm glad you did. You talked about being an immigrant and being proud of the country. I can tell you a week ago, I was in San Diego, drove past the Scottish Rite Center, and the agent next to me said, "I smile every time I see that building." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I was born in Tijuana. And that's the place where I naturalized and became a U.S. citizen." And so I do hope, you know, when you all make it down to the border, you talk to the Border Patrol agents and recognize that a great number of them are immigrants to the country as well, or first generations like yourself, Mr. Frost.
And Chief, on that story, so the senator who's naturalized in was across the border, and something he saw from Mexico.
So
it was like a beacon of hope, is what you're saying.
Well, this was pretty significantly into San Diego, but he grew up on the border, you know, Tijuana. You can certainly see across the border.
And he saw it as a beacon of hope.
And his family recognized opportunity in the United States.
Being able to see directly in our country, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
That's amazing. That's a great story to hear. You know, for 2 years of campaigning, we've heard about the border, the border, the border. And here we are, and yet we're not being solutions-oriented. It's hyperbole and lies. And I want to be clear, and we've heard this time and time and again, and I'll say it again. The situation deserves this committee's attention, because there is a crisis at the border. But the crisis is not a criminal one, it's a humanitarian one.